Hey everyone, my name's Nico, and in today's video we're looking at mixed cell references. Now in a previous video we looked at the difference between relative and absolute cell references. There's a link in the description if you need a refresher. In today's video we're looking at a more advanced application where a cell reference is both relative and absolute. Sound complicated? It's pretty simple actually. Let's go. Alright, so just a quick recap. In the first table, for each month, we are adding up the total sales of two products. If I press Ctrl-tilde, which is the squiggly line above tab, it shows all the formulas. It doesn't change anything. We can just take a closer look at the formulas. We can see that the formula for January in C13 uses relative cell references. In other words, if we copy the formula across, all of the references change to maintain the same shape relative to the current cell. Now in the second table, we are calculating tax as the sales amount in C13 times the tax rate here in C18. Now if we look at that formula again, we have dollar signs in the reference to the tax rate, which makes it absolute or locks it in place. So when we copy the formula across, it will refer to the next sales value, but we'll multiply it with C18 every time. Okay, so that's easy enough. But let's take a look at this table below, where we have a range of interest rates in row 26 and a range of different loan amounts in column B. We want to create one formula that we can copy across the entire table that will accurately calculate the annual interest amount. So for each of these rate and value combinations. For example, in C27, we want 5,000 times 3%, and in J42, we want 80,000 times 10%. Now let's start off by building a formula that works for C27. Super simple. It will be the loan amount in B27 times the interest rate in C26. I'll press enter and perfect, $150. But when I copy this formula across, we can see the whole thing blows up. Because these are all relative formulas, they retain the same shape as the first formula that we created in C27. Essentially, all the formulas say one cell to the left times one cell up. So using only relative cell referencing clearly won't work. We need the reference to the amount in column B to change as we copy the formula down, and we need the reference to the rate in row 26 to change as we copy the formula to the right. So a fully absolute reference also won't work, otherwise all of the formulas will point to 5,000 times 3%. Now the secret is using a mixed reference. That's half relative, say for rows only, and half absolute, say for columns only. So let's go back to C27 and update our first formula that we can then copy across the entire table. Now the reference to B27 is fine, but when we copy the formula down, we want the reference to row 27 to change to row 28, row 29. So there will be no dollar sign in front of the row, but we want the reference to column B to remain the same when we copy this formula to the right. So I'll put a dollar sign in front of the B. Similarly, for the reference to the rate up here, if I copy the formula down, I want the reference to row 26 to stay the same. I always want it to refer to row 26. So this time I'll put a dollar sign in front of the 26. But if I copy the formula to the right, I want that reference to change because I want it to reference C26. In the next column, I want it to reference D26, E26, and so on. So I put no dollar sign in front of the C. And that's it. So let's take this formula, Control C, and copy it across the entire table. And we can see it now always links to the correct cell. If we look at some of these, we can see every time it links to the correct amount and the correct rate. Okay, but here's a quick tip. I've also been there where it's 10 p.m., you've been wrestling with Excel formulas all day, trying to get a report out before the morning, and your brain is mush. Now at this point, it can be tricky to work out quickly what to lock in place and what to leave as relative. A simple way is to lock the row for one and the column for the other. So if I simply do that times that, I'll lock the column for one and I'll lock the row for the other. And there's literally a 50% chance that it'll work. If it doesn't, just swap them over and you're good to go. Awesome. I hope you found that little tip useful. If you did, please remember to thumbs up. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Excel magic. Don't forget to hit the bell button if you want to be notified when the next Excel magic trick's published. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.